Welcome to MINDHUB Stories, fam. Before we dive into this beautiful story, please kindly subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share your thoughts below. Maya Williams thought she knew what love looked like. In their small Atlanta apartment, she folded Derrick's shirts with hospital corners, the way his mother taught her. Every crease had to be perfect. Every meal served at exactly 6 p.m. Every word spoken in the right tone. At 28, Maya had given up her teaching job when Derrick said wives shouldn't work. She'd stopped calling her sister when he said family was too dramatic. She'd learned to walk quietly, speak softly, and disappear into the background of her own life. Now, 8 months pregnant, she moved through their cramped kitchen like a ghost. Her belly bumped against the counter as she prepared his dinner. Fried chicken, mashed potatoes, green beans. The same meal every Tuesday for 3 years. Maya, Derrick's voice boomed from the living room. These shirts look like garbage. You getting lazy because you're pregnant. She touched her swollen stomach, feeling the baby kick. Soon, she told herself. Soon things would be different. Soon they'd be a family, and he'd see her worth. But deep down, in a place she tried not to visit, Maya knew better. The man watching TV in the next room hadn't touched her belly once. Hadn't asked about doctor visits. Hadn't even picked a name. She was carrying his child, but she'd never felt more alone. The contractions started at 2:47 a.m. on a Tuesday. Maya gripped the bathroom sink, her nightgown soaked in sweat. The pain came in waves, stealing her breath and buckling her knees. "Derrick," she whispered, then louder, "Derrick." He stirred in bed, annoyed. "What now, Maya? Some of us got work in the morning. The baby's coming." Her voice cracked with fear and excitement. "We need to go to the hospital. Now." Derrick sat up slowly, checking his phone. "It's 3 a.m. You probably just ate something bad." Another contraction hit, and Maya doubled over. "Please, baby, this is real. I need you to drive me." But instead of urgency, instead of grabbing keys and clothes, Derrick walked to the laundry basket. He held up a wrinkled shirt, his face twisted with disgust. "Look at this, Maya. Look at it." His voice was cold, calculated. "You can't even iron a shirt right, and you think you deserve my help? You think I'm gonna drop everything because you can't handle a little pain?" Maya stared at him, water breaking between her legs, and realized with crystal clarity that she was married to a stranger. This wasn't love. This wasn't partnership. This was something much darker, and she was completely, utterly alone. Derrick returned to bed while Maya crawled to the bathroom floor. The contractions were coming faster now, each one more intense than the last. She could hear him snoring through the thin walls. Her phone had no signal. They lived in a dead zone. The landline was in the kitchen, but she couldn't walk that far. Every step sent lightning through her spine. So Maya did what women have done for thousands of years. She prepared to bring life into the world with nothing but her own strength. She gathered towels from the closet, filled a pot with warm water, and found scissors in the kitchen drawer. Her hands shook as she sterilized them with rubbing alcohol. Everything she'd learned from YouTube videos and pregnancy books flooded back. The pain was beyond description. It split her open, turned her inside out, made her understand why women died in childbirth. But something else was happening too. With each contraction, Maya felt herself changing. The scared, submissive woman who'd tiptoed around her husband's moods was disappearing. In her place rose someone harder, someone who wouldn't beg for help, someone who would survive. At 4:23 a.m., Maya delivered her daughter alone. The baby's first cry echoed through the silent apartment, and Maya wept, not from pain, but from pure, overwhelming love. She'd done the impossible. She'd saved them both. 6 months later, Maya stood in her new apartment across town, packing the last of her old life into boxes. The space was smaller, but filled with light. Her daughter, Amara, babbled happily from her bouncer. Maya had spent those months in secret preparation. While Derrick worked, she'd applied for jobs online. While he slept, she'd researched apartments. While he criticized her cooking, she'd been building an escape plan. The teaching position at Riverside Elementary came first. Then the apartment deposit, scraped together from returning wedding gifts. Finally, the courage to walk away from the man who'd watched her suffer. Derrick had barely noticed her leaving. He'd been too busy complaining about dinner being late to see the moving truck outside. Now Maya looked around her new home, mismatched furniture, second-hand decorations, but every piece chosen by her. She'd done something she never thought possible. She'd rebuilt her life from nothing. Her laptop sat open on the kitchen table, cursor blinking in an empty blog post. She'd been thinking about this for weeks. All those nights alone, she'd wondered how many other women were suffering in silence. How many were trapped like she'd been. Maya began typing. "My name is Maya, and I delivered my baby alone because my husband refused to help." The words poured out like water through a broken dam. The blog post went viral overnight. Thousands of women shared their stories. Abuse, neglect, feeling invisible in their own relationships. Maya's inbox flooded with messages of support, requests for advice, and heartbreaking confessions. Within 3 months, Survived Alone became more than a blog. It was a movement. Maya created support groups, resource lists, and safe spaces for women escaping toxic relationships. Corporate sponsors reached out. Media interviews followed. By winter, Maya had quit teaching to run her platform full-time. She spoke at conferences, appeared on podcasts, and helped launch legal aid programs for abuse survivors. The scared woman who'd once begged for a ride to the hospital was now helping thousands find their voices. Her Atlanta apartment transformed into a headquarters. Volunteers answered phones, matched women with local resources, and shared success stories. Amara, now walking, toddled between desks like the office mascot. Maya looked nothing like the woman who'd lived in fear. Her shoulders were straight, her voice was strong, and her eyes held fire instead of tears. She'd lost 30 pounds of pregnancy weight and gained something more valuable, self-respect. The platform grew exponentially. National news picked up their campaigns. Politicians quoted their statistics. Maya Williams became a name synonymous with survival and strength. But she never forgot that bathroom floor. She never forgot how it felt to be completely abandoned when she needed help most. The knock came on a rainy Thursday evening. Maya was reviewing applications for their new shelter program when her assistant mentioned a visitor downstairs. "Says his name is Derrick Williams. Claims he's your ex-husband." Maya's blood went cold. She hadn't seen him since the day she'd left. Through mutual acquaintances, she'd heard fragments: job loss, eviction, drinking problem. But she'd never expected him to find her here. She could have had security escort him out. Should have, probably. But curiosity won. After 2 years of rebuilding herself, Maya wanted to see what remained of the man who'd once controlled her life. Derrick looked smaller than she remembered. His clothes were wrinkled, ironically. His face was gaunt, his eyes bloodshot. The confident, controlling man who'd lecture her about laundry was gone, replaced by someone desperate and broken. "Maya." His voice was barely a whisper. "You look successful." She didn't invite him to sit. Didn't offer water or pleasantries. just waited. I lost everything, he continued. Job, apartment, car. I've been staying with my cousin, but he's kicking me out. I got nowhere else to go. Maya watched him fidget with his sleeves, the same nervous habit she'd once found endearing. Now it just looked pathetic. I need help, Maya. You're the only person who might. The sentence hung in the air like smoke. Maya stared at the man who'd once made her feel worthless. The man who'd refused to drive her to the hospital during labor. The man who'd cared more about wrinkled shirts than his wife's pain. Help. The word tasted bitter. You want help? Derrick shifted uncomfortably. I know things were difficult between us, but we have a daughter together. Amara deserves to have her father in her life. Amara? Maya's voice rose. You didn't even hold her until she was 2 weeks old. You complained when she cried. You called her it for the first month. I was adjusting. You were selfish. Maya cut him off. You were cruel. And you were absent when I needed you most. She stood up, walking to the window overlooking the busy Atlanta street. Her reflection stared back, confident, successful, unbreakable. Do you remember what you said to me that night? When I was in labor? Derrick looked at his shoes. Maya, you said I didn't deserve help because I couldn't iron your shirts properly. You ate dinner while I delivered our daughter alone on the bathroom floor. The room fell silent except for the rain against glass. I survived without you then, Maya continued, turning to face him. I built this life without you. I became someone without you. And now you want me to save you? Derrick's eyes filled with tears. Please, Maya. I've changed. I understand now what I put you through. Maya felt something she didn't expect. Not anger, not hatred, but pity. You want to know what I learned that night? Maya's voice was steady, controlled. I learned that the only person you can truly depend on is yourself. I learned that love isn't supposed to hurt. And I learned that sometimes the worst thing that happens to you becomes the best thing that ever happened to you. Derrick wiped his eyes. I was wrong, Maya. I was so wrong. I don't know how to fix it. You can't fix it. Her words were final. Some things can't be undone, Derrick. Some damage is permanent. She walked to her desk, pulled out a business card, and handed it to him. This is a shelter for men dealing with substance abuse and job placement. They'll give you a bed, meals, and help finding work. It's a good program. Derrick took the card with shaking hands. You're helping me? I'm helping someone who needs it. That's what I do now. Maya's voice softened slightly. But don't mistake kindness for reconciliation. Don't mistake compassion for forgiveness. She moved toward the door, a clear signal their conversation was ending. Maya, wait. Derrick stood desperately. What about us? What about Amara? Maya paused, her hand on the doorknob. Amara has a mother who loves her unconditionally, who will never abandon her, who will teach her that she's worth more than clean laundry and quiet voices. She opened the door. You can contact my lawyer about supervised visitation once you're sober and stable. If you're serious about being a father, prove it. As Derrick walked out of her building, Maya watched from the window. He looked lost, shuffling through the rain with his shoulders hunched. Part of her felt sorry for him, but a bigger part felt free. Her assistant knocked gently. Everything okay? Better than okay, Maya smiled. Cancel my evening appointments. I want to go home to my daughter. The drive through Atlanta gave Maya time to think. 2 years ago, she would have taken Derrick back, would have convinced herself he'd changed, that she owed him another chance. The old Maya lived in fear of being alone. The new Maya understood that being alone was better than being with someone who made you feel alone. At home, Amara ran to her with chubby arms outstretched.
Mama.
Mama. Maya scooped up her daughter, breathing in her baby scent. This beautiful, perfect child had been born from the worst night of Maya's life. Born from abandonment and pain, but also from strength and determination. Want to hear a story, baby girl? Maya settled into the rocking chair by the window. Once upon a time, there was a woman who thought she needed someone else to save her. But it turned out she was strong enough to save herself. And when she did, she discovered she could save others too. Amara giggled and clapped her hands, not understanding the words, but feeling the love behind them. Outside, Atlanta buzzed with life. Somewhere in the city, Derrick was starting over, hopefully learning to be better. Somewhere else, women were reading Maya's blog and finding courage to leave toxic situations. That night, Maya updated her blog with a new post titled, "When Your Past Asks for Help." She wrote about forgiveness without reconciliation, about choosing compassion over bitterness, and about knowing your worth. The post exploded across social media. Women shared their own stories of confronting ex-partners, of setting boundaries, of choosing themselves. The comment section became a support group, a celebration, a battle cry. Maya's phone buzzed with interview requests, speaking opportunities, and partnership offers. Her story had touched something universal, the struggle to value yourself in a world that often doesn't. But the message that mattered most came from her sister in Birmingham. "Proud of you, sis. Mom would be too." Maya looked at Amara sleeping peacefully in her crib, then at the framed photo on her nightstand. The two of them at Amara's first birthday party, both laughing with pure joy. She'd built something beautiful from something broken. She'd turned her worst moment into her greatest strength. And she'd learned that sometimes the people who hurt you most give you exactly what you need, the motivation to become who you're meant to be. Maya Williams had delivered more than a baby that night on the bathroom floor. She delivered herself. If this story moved you, hit that like button. Share it with someone who needs to hear that they're stronger than they know. Subscribe for more stories of survival and triumph. And tell me in the comments, what's the moment that changed your life forever? Your story matters, and your voice deserves to be heard.